The stars were dying. From the bridge of the Aegis, Captain Mara Voss stared into the black expanse beyond the viewport, watching distant solar systems flicker like failing candles in the vast cosmic night. Light years away, entire star clusters were fading, swallowed by a creeping darkness no one fully understood. The Galactic Council, once a grand assembly of ancient species with wisdom spanning millennia, was now fractured and silent. Their once glorious empires had crumbled or retreated behind fortified walls, unwilling to share resources or trust outsiders. The galaxy's decline was accelerating. The silence spoke louder than any warning. Mara's own people, humanity, were relatively young in this ancient stage of the universe. Their colonies scattered among the stars were still small, fragile, and often isolated. Yet, it was humans who first noticed the pattern. Stars were dimming faster than natural decay could explain. Life itself was at risk. The galaxy was dying. In the quiet hum of the Aegis, Mara ran her fingers over the worn wood of her captain's chair, a reminder of Earth, a world teeming with life and stubborn hope. She had grown up hearing stories of Earth's survival through wars, environmental collapse, and endless challenges. If humanity could endure there, maybe they could do more than just survive now. Maybe they could save others too. A sharp ping from the ship's console snapped her attention back. Lieutenant Oren approached, eyes bright despite the gravity of their situation. "Captain, new data from the Outer Rim," Oren said, tapping the console. Another system just went dark. No radio, no energy signatures, completely vanished. Mara's jaw tightened. How many now? 18 systems in the last month alone. We're tracking the pattern. It's spreading inward, faster than predicted. Mara closed her eyes for a moment. The galaxy wasn't just fading by chance. Something deeper was eating away at its lifeblood. "We need to warn the Council again," she said quietly. Oren shook his head. "They're fractured, Captain. Last message we sent was ignored. Some say it's a natural cosmic cycle. Others blame each other. No one wants to act too scared or too proud to admit the threat is universal." Mara stared back out into the void. The faint glow of dying stars like distant hopes slipping away. "They're waiting for a savior," she muttered. "Or maybe a miracle." Her gaze shifted to the star map glowing on the console. Dozens of species. Countless worlds, all slowly succumbing to the same fate. The galaxy wasn't dying quietly. It was dying alone. A silence fell over the bridge. The crew, diverse in origin but united in purpose, knew the weight of the moment. Humanity could no longer stay on the sidelines, watching ancient civilizations crumble. They had to act. "We can't wait for permission," Mara said, standing. Her voice was steady, but inside a fire was igniting. "If the Council won't lead, we will. If the galaxy won't unite, we will be the spark that brings it." Together, Lieutenant Oren looked at her, hope flickering in his eyes. "Are you saying we start a coalition?" Mara nodded. "Not for power or conquest, for survival. For every species that fears it might be the last. No throne, no crown. Just the will to save a dying galaxy." Oh. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crew. The Aegis was more than a ship. It was a symbol of defiance against cosmic despair. Outside, a lone star winked out, swallowed by the growing darkness. But inside Mara's heart, a different star was burning bright. A determination to change fate, no matter the cost. The galaxy might be on the brink, but humanity would not let it fall silently into the night. Captain Mara Voss paced the command deck of the Aegis, her mind racing. If the galaxy was dying, the question was simple. How do you convince centuries of mistrust, pride, and fear to set aside their differences? How do you reach beings who had long since closed their borders, sealed their doors, and turned their backs on others? The answer was communication. And so, With a steady hand and a resolute heart, Mara prepared the first transmission to every known species. Every colony, every ship, still awake in the dark expanse. The message was simple, but powerful, an invitation. A call to join humanity's coalition, a chance to fight the creeping death together. To share knowledge, technology, and hope, but sending the message was only the first step. Signal sent, Lieutenant Oren confirmed, watching the relay console. Broadcasting on all frequencies, encoded in every known language, including dialects and symbol codes. It's out there now. Mara nodded, but the weight in her chest didn't ease. She knew many would dismiss it outright. Many had grown too proud or too fearful to trust. Within days, the responses began to trickle in and not all were encouraging. The Galactic Council, fragmented and disinterested, sent back cold silence or curt refusals. The ancient Vrak species, proud and isolationist, denounced the message as human arrogance. The sleek, xenophobic Thauri declared no intervention in what they called natural cosmic cycles. Yet among the many rejections, a few sparks of hope flickered. The Lumaya species, known for their curiosity and empathy, a cautious reply. A small fleet of the Telenary warriors, seeking a cause greater than endless conflict, expressed tentative interest. Even a rogue group of human colonists, isolated on a remote asteroid, responded with readiness. Mara gathered the crew in the mess hall, sharing the mixed news. "The galaxy isn't ready to trust us yet," she said plainly. "But it's listening. That means we have a chance." Dr. Liara, the ship's lead xenobiologist, raised a hand. "Captain, these small alliances, they could be the foundation. If we build trust slowly, piece by piece, we might convince others to join." Mara smiled. "Exactly. We start small, grow strong, and show the galaxy what unity looks like." Still, it wasn't going to be easy. For every species that responded with hope, there were dozens who rejected the call. Many saw humans as reckless upstarts meddling in affairs far beyond their experience. A transmission arrived from the Eldari keepers of ancient knowledge. Their message was a warning wrapped in riddles. The stars are not failing by chance. Something deeper, something old and terrible stirs. Those who unite may yet stave off the night. Those who cling to pride will be lost. Mara shared the warning with her officers. "We don't know what's coming, but it's clear this is bigger than anyone imagined." Days turned into weeks as the Aegis traveled from system to system, meeting with emissaries, broadcasting messages, and rescuing stranded ships caught in dying systems. Each encounter deepened Mara's conviction. Humans, despite their young history, had a gift no ancient race possessed: adaptability paired with empathy. They learned from each species, respected differences, and forged connections where others built walls. In one tense meeting on the war-torn world of Terran, 4, Mara negotiated peace between two warring clans, promising cooperation and shared survival. When she spoke, her words carried the weight of someone who had seen Earth's darkest days and still chose hope. Her efforts did not go unnoticed. Slowly, the coalition began to take shape. Small fleets joined the Aegis, their flags and emblems a patchwork of the galaxy's diversity. They shared resources, exchanged knowledge, and trained together in preparation for the greater challenge looming ahead. Still, doubt lingered at night. Mara stood alone on the observation deck, gazing at the swirling stars. Could one species young, scattered, without the ancient wisdom of the elders, really rally the galaxy to its feet? Her communicator beeped, breaking the silence. A message from the Lume's lead envoy appeared. "We will come. Together, we fight the darkness." Mara allowed herself a small smile. No throne, no crown. Just a species determined to stand up not for power, but for survival. The galaxy's last chance was beginning to take form, and humanity was ready to lead it. The Coalition's fleet, a fragile alliance of species brought together by desperation and hope, drifted into the heart of a forgotten star system. This region, known only by scattered legends and half-decayed star charts, had long been considered a graveyard of ancient civilizations. Captain Mara Voss stood on the observation deck of the Aegis, watching as their sensors picked up the silhouette of an enormous structure orbiting a dead star. It was a relic unlike any they had ever encountered, massive, angular, and silent, floating in the void like a sleeping giant. An ancient station, Dr. Liara said quietly beside her, eyes wide with awe. The architecture matches no known species in the coalition. This could be the key to understanding the galaxy's collapse. Mara nodded. Or its salvation. Prepare an expedition. We need to know what secrets it holds. The team descended in small shuttles, the cold vacuum of space pressing against the fragile hulls. As they docked, the station's massive doors creaked open, revealing corridors swallowed by darkness and silence. The air inside was stale, untouched for millennia. Inside, they found walls covered in strange symbols and star maps, records of a civilization lost to time. Holographic projectors flickered to life as Dr. Liara decoded the alien scripts, revealing glimpses of a society that had once thrived on technology capable of controlling cosmic forces. This station was designed to regulate energy flows between stars, Liara explained. It balanced the life cycles of solar systems, preventing premature collapse. If we could reactivate it, Mara's mind raced. It could stop the decay, stabilize the galaxy. But the station's power cores were dark, its systems dormant. To restore it, they would need components scattered across distant worlds, artifacts, once part of this ancient network. The crew split into teams, tasked with deciphering the station's data and mapping out their next mission. Meanwhile, Mara convened with the coalition's leaders, each representing different species, each wary but hopeful. We face a monumental task, Mara said, and none of us can do it alone. These artifacts lie in worlds hostile and unknown. But if we succeed, we save countless lives, ours and theirs. Tension surfaced. Some alien delegates doubted the feasibility of the mission. Others feared it was a trap or a human ploy for power. Old rivalries simmered beneath polite words. One delegate, the stoic Lamael der Senrath, spoke softly but firmly. The stars spoke of this technology long ago. If it is real, our survival depends on unity and trust. We cannot let fear divide us now. Mara appreciated the sentiment. We must move quickly. The darkness is spreading. As the coalition prepared to depart, a security breach alerted the Aegis. Someone had tampered with the station's control systems in an attempt to sabotage their mission. Lieutenant Warren led a swift investigation. Evidence pointed toward a faction within the coalition, those unwilling to share power or cooperate fully. Their motivations were unclear, but the danger was real. Mara confronted the council. If we cannot trust each other, this mission fails before it begins. We need complete transparency and loyalty. Some bristled. Others nodded in agreement. Trust was fragile, but essential. That night, Mara stood again on the observation deck, the ancient station glowing faintly against the starfield. The weight of the mission pressed on her shoulders, but she also felt the spark of something new, a chance for redemption. Before sleep claimed her, her communicator buzzed. A coded message from the Thalria species known for their secrecy arrived. We are watching. This is bigger than any of you know. The warning sent a chill through Mara's spine. Whatever force was causing the galaxy's decline was not just natural decay. Something ancient, powerful, and hidden was stirring in the shadows. But Mara would not turn away. The galaxy was dying, and humanity no throne. No crown was determined to save it. The first step was clear: recover the lost artifacts and unlock The secrets of the ancient station, the race against time, had begun. The coalition fleet broke away from the ancient station's orbit, now armed with fragmented data and a daunting mission to recover the lost artifacts scattered across hostile and unknown worlds. The map projected on the Aegis's command deck pulsed with blinking points, each representing a distant planet, moon, or asteroid where a piece of the ancient technology awaited. Captain Mara Voss studied the map with her officers. "We don't just face the galaxy's decay," she said. "We face suspicion, old wounds, and enemies who want this mission to fail." The first stop was the war-torn world of Alara Prime, a planet scarred by centuries of conflict. Here, two rival factions controlled the surface, one with advanced technology, the other with fierce warriors resistant to outside influence. The artifact they sought was buried deep within a mountain fortress, held as a prize by the strongest warlord. Mara led a small diplomatic team to parley. The air was thick with tension as they entered the warlord's chamber. Guarded by towering figures clad in gleaming armor, the warlord, a towering figure named Crone, regarded Mara with narrowed eyes. "Why should I hand over what my ancestors protected? Your humans seek power disguised as salvation." Mara's voice was calm but firm. "We seek survival not for humanity alone, but for every species. This artifact could save your world from the coming darkness. Help us, and we help you." Cran's gaze flickered with something like grudging respect. "Words are easy. Trust is earned in battle." She nodded. "Then let us prove it." A sudden attack from a rogue faction threatened to disrupt negotiations. Mara's team fought side by side with Cran's warriors, turning enemies into allies through shared courage. With the artifact secured, the coalition's reputation grew. Word spread that humanity was not here to conquer, but to unite. But not all encounters were so hopeful. On the desert planet Solaris, the coalition faced suspicion and hostility. The Silurians were a proud species with deep-seated distrust of outsiders. Their society ruled by rigid traditions and a council unwilling to negotiate. Mara sent envoys to the capital city only to be met with cold refusal. The artifact they needed was sacred to the Silurons, protected by ancient rites and guarded zealously. It was Lieutenant Orin who found a way forward. He learned that the artifact was tied to a ceremonial trial, a test of bravery and wisdom. Mara volunteered herself, knowing the stakes. The trial was grueling, navigating perilous sandstorms, solving intricate puzzles, and facing illusions designed to test one's character. The Siluran Council watched as Mara persevered, her determination shining through exhaustion. When she emerged victorious, they offered the artifact and their tentative support. "Your spirit is rare," the council leader said. "Perhaps humanity has a place among the stars." Each new world brought different challenges: cultural barriers, hostile environments, even natural disasters triggered by the galaxy's instability. Yet, with every success, the coalition grew stronger, its bonds forged in adversity. Still, shadows lurked beneath the growing unity. Sabotage, misinformation, and hidden agendas threatened to unravel what Mara had built. A faction within the coalition, fearful of losing influence, spread doubt and fear. Undermining trust, Mara confronted the council. "If we cannot face our fears together, we cannot save this galaxy. We must be honest, open, and willing to sacrifice for the greater good." The meeting was tense, but her words struck a chord. Slowly, the coalition recommitted to their mission. In quiet moments, Mara reflected on humanity's role. They had no ancient throne or crown to claim, no centuries of power to wield. What they had was something different: a willingness to learn, adapt, and stand beside others no matter the cost. The galaxy was not yet saved. The path ahead was long and dangerous. But with courage and trust, Mara believed they could change. Fate, as the Aegis set course for the next artifact's location. Mara looked to her crew, to the alien allies gathered beside her, and to the stars beyond. No throne. No crown. Only a species determined to save the galaxy from dying alone. The coalition's strength was growing. But so were the cracks beneath its surface. Captain Mara Voss sat at the head of the conference table aboard the Aegis. Flanked by leaders of the allied species, the room was thick with unease. Whispers of sabotage, missing supplies, and suspicious delays shadowed their progress. Lieutenant Oren tapped the datapad in front of him, eyes grave. We've traced several incidents back to deliberate interference. Communication scrambled. Technology tampered with. Supply convoys ambush. Someone inside this coalition is working against us. Mara's jaw clenched. Sabotage from within. Why? Who stands to gain? The room fell silent. Accusations hung unspoken between species who barely trusted one another to begin with. Senroth, the elder LeMay delegate, broke the silence. Fear. Power. Old wounds reopened by this crisis. Some believe survival means ruling, not sharing. They fear losing control to this. Coalition. Mara's gaze hardened. We cannot afford division. Not now. Whoever it is, they risk everything. The hunt for the saboteur became relentless. Security teams combed through data, monitoring communications and scrutinizing behavior. Every alliance was tested by suspicion. During a routine inspection, Lieutenant Oren uncovered encrypted messages hidden within coalition transmissions. The patterns pointed toward an insider embedded deep within their ranks, someone trusted. Mara called an emergency meeting. We need transparency, she said firmly. If we turn against each other blindly, the mission fails. We must root out betrayal. One by one, leaders submitted personnel for investigation. Tensions flared. Alliances strained under the weight of distrust. But Mara knew the alternative failure meant extinction. In the days that followed, a startling revelation emerged. The saboteur was a high-ranking officer aboard the Aegis itself, human. Commander Vecker, Mara's trusted second-in-command. Confronted with evidence, Vecker revealed his motives. A belief that humanity should seize control of the galaxy's fate, not share it with weaker species. He saw the coalition as a threat to human survival and dominance. Your idealism is dangerous, Captain, Vecker said coldly. The galaxy does not survive through unity. It survives through strength and order. Mara met his gaze steadily. Survival without cooperation is death by isolation. We are stronger together. If you cannot see that, you are no longer part of this mission. With heavy hearts, the crew detained Vecker. His betrayal left scars, doubts that cut deeper than any enemy's attack. Yet, Mara refused to let division destroy what they had built. She addressed the coalition openly, acknowledging the danger, but reaffirming their shared purpose. Betrayal is a test, she said. How we respond will define us. We choose trust. We choose hope. We choose each other. Slowly, the coalition healed, its members recommitting to the cause with renewed determination. But Mara knew darker threats loomed. The galaxy's decay was not a simple cosmic event, was a symptom of something ancient and malignant stirring beneath the surface. One night, deep in the Aegis's data core, Dr. Liara uncovered disturbing anomalized energy readings that hinted at a hidden presence, something interfering with the galaxy's natural balance. She shared the findings with Mara. This sabotage, it's only part of the problem. There's a force out there, manipulating the decay itself. We're not just fighting time, we're fighting an enemy we barely understand. Mara felt the weight of those words settle over her like a shadow. The coalition had survived betrayal from within. But now they faced an unknown adversary from beyond. The galaxy's fate depended on their unity more than ever. Mara steeled herself, ready to face whatever darkness awaited. No throne, no crown. Only the unyielding will of a species determined to save the galaxy from dying alone. The Aegis hummed quietly as it cruised through the void toward the next artifact's location. But beneath that calm, a storm was building. Captain Mara Voss stood in the ship's observation bay, eyes locked on the starfield. Each pinprick of light a fragile promise of life. Dr. Lyara's recent discovery haunted Hearn, unseen force, ancient and malevolent, manipulating the galaxy's dying stars. It was no natural decay. It was a deliberate unraveling, Captain. Lieutenant Oren's voice cut through the silence. We've detected a surge of dark energy near the core systems. It's unlike anything we've recorded before. Distortions in space-time, fluctuations in energy fields. It's spreading fast. Mara's heart tightened. Could it be the source of the star deaths? Oren nodded grimly. Possibly. And it's moving toward inhabited worlds. Mara gathered the coalition leaders via hologram. The projected faces showed worry, but also resolve. We are not just fighting to save stars, Mara said, her voice steady. We are fighting a force trying to consume everything. We need to act now. Senrith, the Lume elder, spoke first. Our ancient texts speak of a cosmic entity, the Voidweaver, known to feed on the life energy of stars and civilizations. If it is awakening, we face extinction. Dr. Lyara added, the artifacts we seek were once part of a defense network designed to contain this entity's influence. Reactivating them is our only hope. A plan formed quickly. The coalition would split into teams to retrieve the remaining artifacts simultaneously. Speed was critical. Mara volunteered to lead the mission to the system closest to the Voidweaver's current location, a frozen world circling a dying star. The others dispersed, racing against time. Upon arrival, the Aegis's sensors revealed. The planet's surface was scarred by unnatural storms and flickering energy field, signs of the entity's growing power. Mara led an away team down through swirling snow and ice. The artifact was hidden in a cavern deep beneath the surface, protected by ancient traps and puzzles meant to test worthiness. The team pressed on, overcoming each challenge through combined skill and trust. Yet, the closer they drew to the artifact, the more the environment resisted the Voidweaver's influence, warping reality around them. In the cavern's heart, the artifact pulsed with energy, a crystalline device etched with alien symbols. As Mara reached for it, the ground trembled, and a shadowy form coalesced from the darkness. The Voidweaver had sensed their intrusion, a being of shifting darkness and crackling energy. It spoke without words, a voice in their minds echoing fear and hunger. You cannot stop the end. The stars belong to me. Mara raised her voice, steady and fearless. We choose hope over fear. We stand not as individuals, but as many united. The coalition's bond gave strength. The artifact glowed, brighter, forming a shield of light that pushed back the darkness. But the battle was far from over. The Voidweaver shrieked and retreated into the shadows, warning of a greater confrontation to come. Back on the Aegis, Mara's crew prepared to relay the artifact's power to the other teams. Each recovered device would help rebuild the ancient defense grid. Yet, as the fleet moved forward, new threats emerged. Fleets of shadowed ships, twisted by the Voidweaver's influence, attacked coalition vessels. Battles erupted in space, testing the Alliance's resolve. Through it all, Mara remained a beacon of determination. She reminded her allies that fear was the enemy's greatest weapon. Unity was their greatest strength in a quiet moment. She confided to Oren, "We're fighting against darkness older than any of us. But as long as we stand together, there's light. The stars once flickering out, seemed to pulse faintly in response. The galaxy's fight was just beginning. No throne, no crown. Only a species and their allies determined to save the galaxy from dying alone. The Coalition fleet surged through the darkness of space, battered but unbroken. The Aegis led the charge, each recovered artifact amplifying their strength, weaving the first threads of a defense network that could turn back the Void Weavers' creeping doom. But as their power grew, so too did the enemy's fury, an armada of shadow ships twisted by the Void Weavers' malevolence descended upon the Coalition's fleet near the star system of Iridio, one of the last bastions of life in the region. The battle was brutal and relentless, lasers carving through the void, ships exploding in blazing fees. 2 RMS Captain Mara Voss stood on the command deck, voice calm but commanding. Hold formation. Protect the convoy. We will not let this darkness consume us. Beside her, Lieutenant Oren coordinated fighter squadrons, weaving daring maneuvers to outflank the enemy. The Coalition's alien allies fought with ferocity and honor, their diverse ships and tactics blending into a symphony of resistance. Amid the chaos, Mara received a transmission from the Telenary commander, Veshkar. Captain, our flagship took a direct hit. We're crippled. We need evacuation or we're lost. Mara made a swift decision. Divert escort fighters. Prepare rescue teams. No one gets left behind. The rescue mission was perilous. Veshkar's ship was caught in a gravity well, surrounded by enemy vessels. Yet the Coalition's courage prevailed through sacrifice and fierce determination. The survivors were pulled aboard the Aegis and other fleet ships. The cost was high. Several ships were lost and countless lives sacrificed. Yet amid the losses, a deeper bond formed, proof that unity was their greatest weapon. Later, in the aftermath, Mara gathered the Coalition leaders for a solemn council. We've endured the crucible of battle, she said, her voice steady but heavy. We've lost friends, but we have also forged unbreakable ties. The Void Weaver's darkness tests not just our strength, but our will to stand together. Senrith, the Lume elder, nodded. Our ancestors spoke of this trial. It is not enough to survive alone. Only together can we hope to prevail. Dr. Liara presented new data from the artifacts, showing the next piece was located deep within the heart of the Void Weaver's territory, a planet consumed by shadows, where reality itself twisted and bent. We must face the heart of darkness, she said. This mission will demand everything from us. Mara met the eyes of her allies. We will face it as one. No throne, no crown. Only a species and their allies, determined to save the galaxy from dying alone. Preparation for the final mission was intense. The Coalition worked tirelessly, repairing ships, strengthening defenses, and sharing knowledge. Old rivalries faded beneath the urgent need to survive. On the eve of departure, Mara stood once more on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. The path ahead was shrouded in uncertainty and danger, but she felt hope born of unity, sacrifice, and unwavering determination. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. Oren's voice came through. Captain, the fleet is ready. All eyes turned to you. Mara took a deep breath. Then let's show the galaxy what it means to stand together. As the Aegis led the fleet toward the Void Weaver's dark domain, the Coalition's hearts burned bright, unyielding. Beacon against the encroaching night. The galaxy's fate hung in the balance. But humanity and their allies would fight for every star, every life. Until the very end, the Aegis and the Coalition fleet entered the Void Weaver's domain, an expanse of twisted stars and shattered worlds, where shadows danced like living things. The void pulsed with a dark hunger, warping reality. Draining hope, Captain Mara Voss stood on the command deck, heart steady despite the weight pressing down. This was the final confrontation, the moment where their unity would be tested beyond all limits. "We've come too far to fail," Mara said softly. "Every life lost, every sacrifice made, it all leads to this." Lieutenant Oren's voice was steady as he monitored incoming threats. "Enemy fleets massing ahead. The Void Weaver's forces are prepared to crush us." Dr. Liara worked furiously, synchronizing the artifact's energies into a coherent defense network. The crystalline devices glowed, casting brilliant light that pushed back the surrounding darkness. Suddenly, a shadowy tendril lashed out from the void, striking the Aegis. The ship shuddered but held firm. "Brace for impact," Mara commanded. Defensive shields at maximum. The battle erupted with renewed fury. Fighters swarmed, energy blasts streaked through the darkness, and the coalition fought with desperate courage. Mara led the fleet deep into the heart of the Void Weaver's territory, seeking the source of its power, a colossal dark spire rising from a shattered planet's surface. The spire thrummed with terrible energy, siphoning life from nearby stars. It was the heart of the decay. "Dr. Liara, can the artifacts disrupt that?" Mara asked. Liara's fingers flew over her console. "If we channel all their power through the spire's core, we might sever the connection and halt the decay." "Least temporarily." Mara nodded. "Then that's our mission. Oren, Squadron Alpha, prepare for escort. We'll need to protect the channeling team." As the Aegis maneuvered close, a squad of coalition engineers and specialists deployed in armored exosuits. Their path was fraught with danger-shifting shadows, energy surges, and strange whispering voices designed to break their resolve. But the team pressed on. Fueled by hope and the knowledge that failure meant oblivion at the spire's core. They connected the artifacts, their combined light flaring against the darkness. Suddenly, the Void Weaver's form appeared vast, shadowy, and furious. "You cannot stop the inevitable," it intoned. "This galaxy belongs to the Void." Mara's voice rang out, transmitted through the channel. "It belongs to those who fight for it. We choose life. We choose hope." The coalition fleets surged forward, engaging the Void Weaver's forces with renewed vigor. Fighters danced through the void, targeting tendrils of darkness, breaking the entity's hold. The spire pulsed violently as the artifact's energy overwhelmed it. Light spread, unraveling shadows, stitching together the shattered stars. The Void Weaver screamed, its form fracturing, then dissipating into nothingness. With the spire destroyed, the decay slowed, stars rekindled their fires, and life across the galaxy found a fragile new breath. Back aboard the Aegis, the coalition leaders gathered once more. Senroth's voice was steady but hopeful. "This victory is only the beginning. We have proven that survival depends on unity." Mara looked out at the stars live, vibrant and full of promise. "No throne, no crown," she said quietly. "Only the will of those who refuse to let the galaxy die alone." The galaxy was not healed, but it was saved for now, and humanity stood among allies, ready to face whatever came next, together.